Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So I am a few days behind with my Alliance War uploads, but here we go. Alliance War number 6 in season 21 ASR against LGAT. Now we were quite a clear favorite in this matchup, so long as obviously we perform to our standards, and that was exactly what I wanted to do. I have one death this season that is, relatively insignificant because that war was fairly stable. Other than that, I have managed to stay clear of unnecessarily dying or dying in any tight or close wars. And I intend to keep it that way. I do not want to have any more deaths this season. So starting out in Section 1, I'm on path 7 now. This Darkhawk has kinetic transference node, and it would actually be quite tricky fight. But it turns out that Magneto against metal opponents also can shut down the kinetic transference. You can see that not every time he gains power. So he has 70% chance to disable that node, which is something I didn't really expect, but I was pleasantly surprised by. And obviously, Magneto cannot miss against metal opponents either. So it's a very easy, clear way to the victory right here. Just gonna parry heavy my way to a level 3. And at that point, the fight will be over. And that's gonna be quite as simple as that. And there's not much that Darkhawk can do. I'm already at like 40 prowess charges, so that will be more than enough to take care of the guy. And just need to drop one more heavy attack as soon as I reach level 3. I don't even care at where Darkhawk's power bar is at or anything like that. It's definitely guaranteed to absolutely destroy that guy. And a very simple, standard parry heavy Magneto fight right here against a metal opponent. And next up, we're going to be against Symbiote Supreme, and this is also a very simple fight. He doesn't really have any special nodes. He has Matador and Power Bond, which means I'm not really going to be gaining any power unless he drops special attacks. But the plan is to just bash at him at the corner pretty much, and then if he does throw special attacks, fine. Obviously, Red Guardian is especially perfect matchup right here because I cannot trigger any buffs, including dexterity on myself, which means he will not be able to stagger any buffs, and that, however, means that I'm not going to take any passive damage right there. Now, this was one thing that everybody's consistently kind of like warning me about that I'm just continuing to ignore. In Alliance War, it's actually risky to throw heavy attack after heavy attack in corner, because if opponents do have stand your ground mastery, they can in fact like parry you and block that and then punish you, and that can end up being quite nasty. And I know they're right, but I find heavy spamming in a corner extremely enjoyable and fun, and knowing that there is a tiny bit of risk involved makes it even more interesting, especially in fights where you are doing fairly stable and there is not too much chance of dying. And that was it for me in section 1. Section 2, I'm going to be on path 1, and I'm also going to have that end fight over there at the end of the line, where I'm actually going to bring in the wrong champion. I didn't have too much time to do these fights in section 2 because I was in the middle of a very busy work day. I've been working very hard recently, doing a lot of overtime, so sometimes these fights do get rushed by me. So first up, we're against Sentinel, who is obviously going to be food for Magneto. Now, I do not want to die again, and therefore I will put on medium level boost, small attack boost, small health boost, medium champion boost. I was confident I probably didn't even really need those boosts for these fights at all, but again, it's always better safe than sorry. And now these medium boosts and lower boosts, thanks to the Supreme Solo Crystals, are pretty much free, and it's extremely easy to access to them. So there's pretty much no reason at all whatsoever not to use those boosts, because they are coming in quick and easy and free. So yeah, why not? And it's a very simple fight against Sentinel. I will go for a level 2 in this fight because I thought whether it crits or it doesn't crit, I might still have a chance to kill that Sentinel. Unfortunately, it will not crit, so we're not going to see a big yellow number, but it will still do obviously significant amount of damage. And he has hardly any life there left, so at that point I'm just going to drop some more heavy attacks. Heavy attacks obviously also hit quite hard, especially with that armor break on and that extra energy damage. And then I just combo into another level 1, and that is more than enough to finish out the fight. Now we're going to be going up against Iron Man Infinity War, and that's also a very simple fight. Actually, I could have used either one of the champions that I brought in for this fight, because Warlock I have used in past for this matchup, and he does the fight beautifully. Red Guardian can do this fight as well, because he cannot gain buffs, so he cannot trigger buffet. That would be a slightly trickier fight though. And obviously then Magneto, because Iron Man Infinity War is a metal champion, and I decided just to go in with my little Magneto over there. That Magneto is rank 3. The only reason his PI isn't higher is, well, he has quite low PI to begin with, but he's also only SIG 20. I have heard people comment on the low PI. Here I do mess up and I eat that level 1, but even if the shock would trigger from the level 1, it really poses no threat to Magneto. I'd actually have preferred that level 1 to trigger shock, because Magneto is 90% shock resistant. So that means I would have healed quite substantial amount from it via willpower. But yeah, all is good. Magneto is quite tanky champion, and he's quite amazing against Iron Man Infinity War. Now I am closing in on my level 3 here. In this fight I definitely do want to go for a level 3, because I want to bypass that last 15% mark. So here, as soon as I reach level 3, I drop it. He's at 40%, and my level 3 will be more than enough to finish out this fight. And next up, we're gonna move to a very, very long fight where I definitely brought in the wrong champion. That's gonna be the Mole Man here, right? So it has that strike counter power suppression node active, and he also has like buffet and some other stuff. So my options for this fight should have been Warlock. Well, Red Guardian is also definitely an option, even though like this is far from ideal matchup for Red Guardian, especially with power suppression node and Mole Man shrugging off all the debuffs. But here was my logic, and I didn't like really think it through. I wanted to bring in Warlock, but it was too late when I kind of like changed my mind. The idea was I'm just gonna slow play this fight, play it slowly, and get him down with Red Guardian, because Red Guardian cannot gain any buffs, therefore I will never trigger buffet node, and it's effectively gonna be a very long kind of like slugfest of me playing against him as if he's like stun immune, and that is about it. It's like a very simple long fight with class disadvantage, no special attacks, no access to good damage or anything of the sort. What I should have done, however, is I should have brought in Warlock, and Warlock would have worked fantastic against this Mole Man as well, because I can place the techno-organic virus on Mole Man, and whenever he would try to trigger buffet node, he obviously would just lose power and would start to degen. But I jumped in a fight with Red Guardian instead. It really should have been Warlock. Warlock wouldn't be at class disadvantage. Warlock is a rank 3 6-star as opposed to maxed out 5-star. And here we can see that the fight is definitely taking quite a long time. Thank God for the 5-minute timers, because 2 minutes in the fight, he's still at 40%, and I'm gonna make a mistake here when I do get hit by level 1. So that actually I didn't mind. I was kind of happy I did that, mainly because that pushed me below 50%, and that gave me the courage damage. Now here, while he is in his like Super Saiyan rage mode, as much as Mole Man can be in Super Saiyan mode, I actually could benefit from the debuff that lets me do extra damage. Briefly skipped my mind what the name of that debuff was. Sabotage? No, it's not vulnerability. Yeah, I genuinely forgot for a moment. But obviously, I cannot maintain it forever, and he goes back to his normal phase where he would shrug off pretty much all of my debuffs. But the fight at this point is pretty much over, so that is very good news for me. And that is also the last fight for me in this war. So we did win this war. Good job to LGAT. Shout out to those guys. Currently, we are 3-3 in the season, so we are having a rough start. But hey, you know. And yeah, that is it. And I'm gonna catch you guys soon. See ya.